It is so hard to believe that we are now here at the end of 2020 after such a wild and crazy year. I mean, there has been so much that has happened this year, and most of it has just been cuckoo crazy. But we made it to the end. We're only a few days away from New Year's Eve. And so here in our final video of 2020, after my first full year of being on YouTube here with Empire Your Life, with Kody Horn, I want to go ahead and show you my best top 40 bloopers from 2020. Welcome back, my friends, to another episode of Empire Your Life. And not just any episode, it is the final episode of 2020. That's right, we are only a couple days away. We're at the midnight hour. We're about to hit 2021, a brand new year, after all this crazy stuff has happened in 2020. And I know, look, this hasn't been the year that you thought it was going to be, but we have the opportunity with a light at the end of the tunnel to make 2021 amazing. But before we get into that, I couldn't think of a better way to end this crazy year without showing you my top 40 bloopers from 2020. But keep in mind, there was a lot more bloopers that I had in this first year of Empire Your Life with Kody Horn. But I'm excited that I've been through this process. I'm finishing out my first year strong, and I just thought it would be a great way to end this crazy year to show you all the ways that I messed up throughout 2020. Now look, before we jump into this reel, you need to do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button down below. We want to get as many people here on Empire Your Life as we can. That way we can continue to build our businesses and build our lives, especially going into 2021, which I believe is going to be a powerful year for a lot of people if you are set up in the right way. And so here at Empire Your Life, I want to help you do that and make 2021 the best year that it possibly can. And so look, I hope you enjoy this blooper reel here and you look forward to New Year's Eve to start a brand new year in 2021. And so without further ado, let's jump right into the top 40 bloopers in 2020. Now look, I know getting started with something can be very scary. Now look, I know getting started with something new can be very, very scary, but welcome back to another episode of Empire Your Life, and welcome to our first official Thanks for watching this video, and if you're ready to take your business to the next... Well, today I want to tell you exactly what moving the needle means in your life and how you can move that starts to cut into all the other areas of our lives. And so today I want to talk about how you can If you haven't already, make sure you give a big smash thumb. Hey, how everybody's doing today? So, I really think we're going to come out of it strong if we all work together and we listen to the government. It's terrible. All right, so if you haven't heard already, today is a huge... And a lot of times that will do the trick right there in step number 2. And then going into step number 3 is, going into step number 3, you need to realize, going into step number 3, so now that we have our setup of how to set up, so now that we have our setup of what a balance sheet is and how to set up a balance sheet, I want to take that sheet of paper that you just created a line and made a column for assets and liabilities. Now We just finished our last 3-part series that was all about getting outside of your comfort. Hey everybody! We'll figure it out sooner or later. This next one's a fun one. What would you... This next one's a fun one. What would you... This next one's a fun one. What would you be willing to do if you... This next one's a fun one. What would you be willing to do even if you look like a fool doing it? And just remember, hey, welcome back to this very special episode of Empire Your Life. Hey, welcome back to Empire Your Life. And on this very special episode, we're going to be discussing Hey, welcome back to another episode of Empire Your Life. And today, we're going to be discussing Hey, welcome back to another episode of Empire Your Life. All right, so step number 2. On this step, all right, so step number 2. Now what you need to do is once the property is completely cleared out. All right, now that we're on step number 2, the next thing. Now, let's jump into the next one I want to discuss today. And this is going to be sort of a broad, general topic. Now, let's jump into the next one that I want to discuss today. Now, let's jump into the next sort of entrepreneur that most people don't normally think of as entrepreneurs. So I don't know about you, but I am very surprised to look at these definitions and find out how... Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. My name's Kody Horn. Welcome back to this episode of Empire Your Life, and I am excited. And this is such... Evie. Go. 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 You might not realize this, but do you realize... You might not realize this, but we all have gaps in our game. We have limitations on ourselves that we do not even realize. And so today, I want to go over... Well, I think we've all been to that point a time or two. But the fact of the... But now, to relate back to getting out of your comfort zone, again, this was... Now, to get back to... Now, to get back to how this relates to getting out of our comfort zone. You know, maybe you're not a business owner, but, you know, maybe you want to be a leader at your work or your place where you... Or maybe you want to be... Or maybe you want to be a leader at where you're working. Hey, let's face it, there's a lot of negative things going on in the world right now, and it is just... All right, next part of our day here, Empire Your Life community. And if you leave me some comments, some questions, I would love to contact... All right, today I'm super excited. This has been a long time coming, and I am happy. Are you a real estate investor that is buying flip properties, residential flip? Are you a real estate investor that's buying residential flip properties, or maybe even Hey, look, I know we're all busy trying to grow our businesses and accomplish things in our personal life, and I'm only here to help you out. And so I want to let you know about a together. And if you haven't yet, please jump on. And if you haven't yet, please go to YouTube. And if you haven't yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and that way you can be part of this community. Thank you so much for watching today, and if you haven't already, make sure you... So I sure hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you find this tool useful in your business, and I hope you find this... So I sure hope you found this video a little bit of cleanup, selling them the property in as-is condition, and still being able to turn a little quick profit for ourselves and be able to move on to the next project. Right? All right, so I hope you enjoyed all 40 of those great bloopers. Keeping in mind that there were so many more bloopers that there was not enough room in order to put all of them on here, because there was hundreds and hundreds of bloopers from throughout 2020. And so look, I learned so much throughout this year shooting these videos. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot more about my business. I learned a lot more about the things that I can accomplish and do in my life. And so I'm very excited to jump into 2021, learning all the things that I learned over this year, especially from these bloopers. We talk about, all the things you can learn from failures. And so these bloopers were essentially failures that I had, little small failures, but throughout the entire year. And so now I'm going to take these little failures and be able to build off of this to be that much stronger going into 2021. And so I am super excited about jumping into this year. And I have some wonderful, great things planned for you here on Empire Your Life with Kody Horn. And so look, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so that way you can be a part of this community as we're continuing to grow our businesses and our lives going into this brand new year after coming off such a wild ride in 2020. And so look, I just hope that you have a wonderful, happy, and safe New Year's Eve, and just be ready, set your goals, and be pumped for what's coming in 2021 as you continue to get out there and build your empire. Hey, I hope you enjoyed all of this great content here, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button down below to become a part of this great community. And if you want to see more videos just like this one, look over to the side here, because they're exactly what you need to see next to continue to build your empire.